Hello everyone, welcome back to PRL Performance Racing League. I am your host HoopBK. Once more, we are here for the Sunday tier race. We are at Monza today, so always a fun time. Qualifying is always tight here. A lot of straights, a lot of heavy braking zones, and looking forward to the infamous Monza lap 1, turn 1. Gonna preface by saying I'm probably gonna step out for a bit during qualifying, just so I can eat some lunch and save my voice up a little bit. It's feeling a little sore from the cold weather here in the American South over the last couple of days. But I will try to. We'll do a lap around with CAC Supreme, the first hot lap of the session, and then I'll probably step away for a couple minutes, or at least mute myself. Let the video run, but won't really contribute anything commentary-wise. Yeah, Pickle. It was I was out. I work outdoors. I'm a delivery driver. I was delivering yesterday, and it was with the wind chill. It was about 5 degrees Fahrenheit. I think that's negative. I don't know, 15, negative 16. For our European and Canadian friends. So, does a number on the body. How about that? CAC Supreme is back with us this week in a pretty full grid. I am going to run the telemetry just to add something to the qualifying lap. And the hot lap starts well before the final corner. Parabolica, you need as much speed as possible all the way down the front straight. Redlining at 214 miles an hour, braking at about 100. The car all the way slowed down, all the way down to second gear. Back on the throttle. Was this Curva Grande? Trying to remember all the names now. Towards another heavy braking zone, about 100. The meter board. Don't want to get too much curb, but you want the curb to get through the line. And now I'm struggling to remember all the corner names. I know this is a pair of 1 and 2. Maybe didn't keep as much momentum through this the corners as you would have wanted. Back into another DRS zone, down the hill, dumping battery. May have cut the corner just a touch, and yep, he's invalidated. So. Let's see who else. We'll go to Craig then. Not Rusty. It would have been Turner. So he gets to the chicane cleanly. A very quick to the left, to the right, to the left. And you're back on the throttle, already up to 200 miles per hour. Into Parabolica. Got to get the car slowed down, but you want to get back on throttle as soon as possible. And Craig, all the way to the bottom, the good old esports line for the qualifying. You want to get just to shorten the distance back to the line. But we'll have our first times trickle in. Bazurga 119 flat, and Tar Heels has been disqualified. That's unfortunate. He will start at the rear of the grid. Craig 120.1 remains second. As soon as I said that, it's a Haas 1-2, a vote into the 119 flats as well. We'll ditch the telemetry now. Everyone getting out of the way for the heavy braking zone, turn 1. That's a good cut. I'm Goofy, sitting P5 behind Turner. So it's a lot of 119s, 120s. Gortsas to the top of the board. It's very tight for these top three. 119 zeros for the trio of them. And Furzy says, screw that, how about a 118? 118.6. So it's Turner now 6th. I'm Goofy 7th. Rusty 8th, all in the 120s. Joe Biden putting down a lap, feeling it out, a 123. And Mr. Bean as well in the 130s. Was a late join. But good to have Beanie back on the grid. I think for the second week in a row, it's kind of a last second, I can race. So Good to have him, as always, our championship leader. J Story slots into P5. Bit of a ways back. Kobe says, I don't want to qualify. Oh, he might have crashed, actually. What is that? Who is that? Would have been Bryant. So, out of the chicane. Kobe puts it in the wall. Must have. Mr. Bean puts down a good time, a 1:18.1, so that's a half second down to P2. He sits on provisional pole. Trying to bounce around, see if I can get a quick look at that McLaren in the wall, but didn't get there in time before the game pulled him off the track. There's Brian B. I think this will actually be... I'll leave it on him for now. And I'll ditch the UI, but I'll be back in like 5 minutes. I'm gonna eat some pizza real quick. All right, we're back. Got to see Mr. Bean improve by half a tenth that time around. Had to enjoy 2 slices of Little Caesars pizza. It's hot and it's ready. That's all we can really give you. Gourd sauce. Looking for no, not for an improvement. He's going into the pit lane. We're inside 5 minutes left of the session. So I came back in time for most of the drivers to be on in laps or be in the pit lane. But Joe Bidome and I'm Goofy are out on track. Looking for some space to work with. I know Joe specifically trying to find a couple of seconds to get him back towards where we would expect him to be in qualifying. Excuse me. And Butler just threw down his first lap. So 120.5, that puts him P13 of the 16 drivers who were able to put down a lap. So reminding myself of all the corner names here. So that was the Ascari chicane, obviously. And the one I blanked on earlier with the first and second parts are the Lesmos. Luckily it's Monza, so there's like 5 corner names. Joe Bidome with 3.5 minutes left on the clock. Starting a hot lap here. He sits P16. Misses the apex at turn 1. This is our winner from last Sunday. Was in control pretty much the entirety of the race at Spa. And is getting closer and closer to, who is it? Just ahead of him in the standings, but has narrowed the gap to Furzy. So Joe is currently P3 in the championship standings. He's just 10 points behind Furzy, but 76 behind Mr. Bean, who leads the table. So Joe looking at P2, but his rival is currently P2 in this session, so still kind of cruising around. So maybe we'll come back to Joe, as some other drivers have taken to the course for their final runs. Let's see, a Mercedes then. Is that Craig? No, Mr. Bean on an outlap. Outlap. That's Rusty pushing through Sector 2 then. Let's see where he's at. At the sector line. Goes under the bridge. He's found a little bit of time. He sits P8. A little bit of time could still move him to P6. Within a tenth of Ghost Viper for 6. It's a bit further away to Gourd Sauce in P5. Let's see if Rusty can find a bit of time. Down into the waning minute. Rusty to the inside, finds half a tenth, just misses out on P6, 0.003 of a second. And I believe that was Cac getting across the line, finding some time as well. He moves to P11. While I was muted, caught a bit of action, a bit of a traffic jam in Sector 2. Everyone trying to find some space, but hard to come by. That's Joe. We didn't get back to him in time. Lost track of him, but he puts it P2 provisionally. 1:18.4. Good lap from the Red Bull driver. That's where we expect him to be. Certainly not P16. Bazurga finding a bit of time. that Mr. Bean pushing? No, he's invalidated. He's going to get back to the line, and we'll have another chance. Furzy was pretty even. Can he find any time in Sector 3? No, to the pit lane. And it retires from the session. It's Nico John, I think, coming across the line. He jumps a position as the checkered flag comes out. Rusty to the pit lane. A vote has invalidated. Craig to the line. Improves, but not by enough. He remains P13. Somebody else just jumped across the line. That was J Story to P7. We have some other drivers coming through. We go to the Williams. Ghost Viper is invalidated. What about his teammate Brian? He's found half a tenth. It could be enough to move into P8 or so. It'll be P8. Just ahead of his teammate for the time being, but oh yeah, Ghost Viper has invalidated. So John across the line. How about Gord? He's invalidated. So everyone is pretty much invalidated or off the pace at this point. So let the cars circulate all the way back to the pit lane. Wow, that took forever. Okay. It's the end of Monza qualifying. Truly a high-speed affair. And it goes about as expected. Mr. Bean on pole next to his fellow countryman Joe Bido. It's Furzy Balzerga on row 2. A vote and Gord Sauce 5th and 6th. J Story and Brian 7th and 8th. Ghost Viper and Rusty through the top 10. Then there's Nico John, Turner, Caxapreme, Craig, Butler, Goofy, and then Kobe crashes out, will start 17th. Tar Heels disqualified and will start 18th. Probably was trying to stay out of the way. Someone on a hot lap, and then the game said, well, you're standing still at the end of the pit lane. Grab some bench, bud. Hopefully no one readies up early. I'm going to get some more pizza. Celebrating Monza with pizza. I use the term pizza loosely. I am sure the Italians will reject Little Caesars being pizza. I'm American, all right? We're just really good at making shittier versions of other cultures' foods. Anyways, back to the action. See a lot of mediums and hards. I see one soft, though. We'll keep an eye on that once we get to the formation lap. Yeah, Pickle, let's see if I can get through the stream before those effects take place. He says if it's anything, it's a laxative. Not my preferred American pizza brand, but big Papa John's guy here. Formation lap underway. 18 cars departing the grid. Mediums and hards. Top 11 all on mediums, and Kobe in 17th on the mediums as well. The others all from 12th on down on hards. So one stop, maybe? I think I said that in the last stream as well, and ended up being a two-stop. So the AWS in F125 says two-stop, a hard and two mediums, so we will keep an eye on that. I like to show the full position changes so we get an idea how chaotic lap 1 might be. It is Monza. Anything can happen in lap 1, turn 1. Huge, heavy braking zone. Cold tires. Mr. Bean zips around the course for his formation lap. Means he'll be sitting for a little bit as the rest of the field joins him on the grid. This guy's just loving to wave this green flag. Look at that. Heart and soul into it. It's like, buddy, you can stop now. I mentioned your shoulder's getting sore. Tar Heels will pull up to the rear of the field. And the light sequence is about to commence. 3, 4, 5 red lights. And we are underway from Monza. Mr. Bean was on the grid facing the bottom side. He goes defensive immediately to cover off Joe. That leaves Furzy to the outside. We get a good shot into turn 1. Seems to be rather clean. Maybe some bumping. Just kind of clicking my way through so we can hold on to that chicane shot for a little bit longer. But Mr. Bean does successfully defend from Joe. Furzy still P3. Balzerga still P4. We do have some movement in the upper midfield and some cars going off and rejoining. I did see some movement from the Williams. I will go down them real quick. I think it must have been Ghost Viper losing a bunch of positions in turn 1. maybe a little deep, or didn't get the line right and was left to the inside at turn 2. Hard to make that corner if you're taking it too tightly. So he loses 6 spots. There must have been something else involved there as well, as Turner and Cack also down 4 spots. A vote down 3. Mr. Bean leads the field back over the line to start lap 2. The improvers, Kobe up 4 after a lap. Butler and Craig both up 3. I think it's directly related to the falling of Ghost, Turner, and Cack. We'll go to Brian, who's on the rear of Gourd Sauce. His top 6 has started to pull away already, with DRS available this lap. As Rusty getting by a vote, and we got a yellow. Butler must have gone deep or was forced off. So he will drop to the rear of the field. No movement in the top 6. And everyone's still kind of feeling it out. Their DRS is available, but don't want to make any rash decisions too early. J-Story leading this second train. He is falling back rather quickly, already down to 2 seconds behind this lead pack. Going to a vote to see if he wants to make a move. It's not going to be him. It will be Rusty, who is second in line, getting to the outside of J-Story, cutting across the apex. J-Story trying to get a better exit, though. Getting back on the throttle. Tough to find the traction out of that first chicane. And slam dunk DRS overtake by Rusty. He will now lead this group.
I couldn't find that on Apple Music.
I'm Goofy and Cack going back and forth here for P14. We'll give him a good look. Oh, he runs wide. That's going to give Cack the chance to get back around. McLaren's switching positions there. Kobe getting by Nico. Ooh, interesting. So it turned into a Turner on Goofy battle. Turner takes the position and then stays ahead. Let's go to Furzy. He will not be, well, he will have DRS, but he won't be the one getting by. It's going to be Joe to the inside, but will he get close enough? No overlap in the braking zone. Good chicane, though. He takes it in third, but it's going to be a little bit tougher for him to get on the throttle. Furzy might take advantage of this. Gets right to the rear of that Red Bull. As Kobe finds another position, he's already up 8 to P9. Furzy not quite overlap, and a good defensive position by Joe. Oh, and Furzy slides the tires out of, oh, what is that chicane name? The De La Raja? So he got right back to the rear of him, but is down to 6/10 or so. It's going to put him a little bit on the back foot. Will Joe have a chance to get by Mr. Bean with DRS this time? I think he's going to wait until turn 1. J-Story had trouble there with that chicane. The game is not afraid to give out time penalties here. And as I say that, I'm Goofy picks up the first 3-second penalty of the race. So, should be a couple more. Easy to run wide, easy to cut the chicane. It will happen. We'll go back to Joe. I could have taken the shorter way, but I didn't. Joe's still not quite getting close enough, or just not wanting to go for it at this point in time. It is going to leave him on the back foot once more out of the first chicane. But he's able to hold about a quarter-second lead over the Aston Martin. This midfield pack. 7th down to 12th. All pretty tight right now. Kobe has not been afraid to go on the aggressive, as he has shown. We're on lap 5. He is up 8 spots. Nico John gets by J Story. He might have had more issues at Ascari. But yeah, he must have. Ghost Viper gets by him as well, so he's going to drop to the rear of this full field. This group. Now Nico trying to hold on. Will he have DRS with his teammate in front? He will. He must have picked up damage. J-Story headed to the pit lane. So the first pit stop of the day, I imagine it was not really planned. The medium runner probably onto the hards. Kobe side by side with Rusty. He's going to have the inside line to the De La Raja. Essentially has to get the elbows out. So he has that inside line, has the corner. But he's going to wash out a little wide in the first of the Lesmos. But he does have P8. He's up 9 spots now from near the rear of the field. After an accident in qualifying. Rusty will have DRS though. Won't get close enough to make a move. Let's see if Kobe can reel in a vote or if he will have to hold off this group a little bit longer. It's 1.3 seconds to the Haas in front, but if you're constantly worrying about the drivers behind, Mr. Bean doesn't have to worry about Joe Bidom any longer. Joe has dropped now to P3 as Furzy uses DRS to get by him on the front straight. We had last seen Joe within a quarter of a second of Mr. Bean with DRS help, but he had fallen back to a second and a half at the end of that lap, and now has lost the position. These two are going at it for P2 in the championship standings, as I mentioned before. That gap is 10 points between them, but second and third on the track will not really make too much of a difference. J-Story came back out on the hard tire. He's at the rear of the field. See if those hards can go the distance. I don't expect they will. Kobe is pulled away from Rusty a bit, but is still a bit of ways away from a vote. He's just kind of hanging out by himself. Can see the top 6 in front of him, but can't catch him. They're getting DRS help from each other. Gordsauce going pretty much defensive, trying to take the short way to the line. Oh, Kobe into the pit lane, and he's picked up a time penalty for speeding. Brian not going to be close enough for moving to turn 1. Kobe is in. Ghost Viper is in. Kobe very, very fast, but has a tendency for things to come undone. So he had a very late incident last week. Or am I thinking of midweek? Oh, it might have actually been midweek tier 1. I was able to stream that on Wednesday. Had a late incident. Took him out of the running for a top 5. He is 16th now, but has that 10-second penalty. J-Story had pretty much undercut Ghost Viper. This thing, when I stream both of them, I forget which things have happened in which tier. Furzy and Joe have started to pull away from Balzerga. There's Gord as well. So the DRS train uncoupling right now. Brian's still holding on to the rear of Mr. Sauce. And Furzy into the pit lane, so 8 laps on those medium tires. Gord Sauce will follow him. And we are officially into the pitting portion of this race. Probably the first pit with an 8-lap stint on mediums. Rusty is in as well. If you start on the mediums, you're probably going to the hards. Though Furzy is back on to the mediums, so he will be on a 2-stop. See who comes out where. Furzy actually comes out ahead of Tar Heels and is already on the rear of Butler. We'll get around the outside. It's always fun. That's always a fun move around the outside at Curva Grande. That's the new tires showing off. Big lockup from Goofy ahead, and Furzy just wants to get around him. Won't be able to get close enough, so he's going to lose a ton of time, but the Ferrari washes out wide. Concedes the position. So Furzy has some bodies between him and most recent pitters, I guess. Gord Sauce does get around Tar Heels. That lead now between Mr. Bean and Joe is a full 3 seconds as we head to lap 10. My guess is lap 11 or 12 would be one-stop territory for the medium tire. So see if that's what they're pushing for, or if maybe they're just running a little bit long to get more advantageous stints later in the race. Going back with Turner here. He's within about a half a second of Craig ahead. That's 7th and 8th on track. Has the DRS zone. Actually, I think Furzy's going to have a much better chance on CAC than Turner on Craig. Yeah, slam dunk actually dips the right side tires into the grass to complete the move. As he turns in Atascari. Pretty much the same thing with Gord and Butler. New tires on old. Taking a lot of curb on turn-in, I'm noticing. A lot of the drivers are. Turn in at Ascari. Joe, Balzerga, Brian, Avote, Nico John, all coming in. That leaves Mr. Bean as the only medium starter that is still on that tire. We have a big shuffling of the field. Plenty of cars in the pit lane. Turner on the rear of Craig still. Let's see if he's going to have a better chance here. Craig to the bottom. Be enough room around there. He backs out pretty early. Had a feeling Craig was going to come back up to complete his line. And just kind of backed out of it. Balzerga, new tires on Butler. Moving to the De La Raja. And Furzy rapidly approaching this battle. He is 4th on track. He's undercut Joe by quite a margin. And he's just going to have a much better run to get by Turner and possibly by Craig on the front straight. Mr. Bean has entered the pit lane. We'll see where he comes out. It's about an 18-second gap to Craig before the pit. He may still come out in front of everyone. He dons the hard tires. Furzy does get by Craig. And into the lead of the race. So a big undercut here puts Furzy at the front of the field on pretty good medium tires, even if they are older. And he's the only one on medium tires, actually. It's Craig and Turner, and critically, Mr. Bean 2 seconds behind Craig and Turner. He will have to fight past them on those new hard tires. It'll come to him, for sure. But just an additional obstacle for him to get back into the lead of the race. See how long these hard runners go for. It could be a hint into what we're looking at strategy-wise. CAC has Kobe all over the rear as we go to the DRS zone. Turner and Craig switching positions with that DRS into Ascari. Will Kobe get close enough? He won't, but he may get a better run. He brakes later, so it brings him right to the rear of the V-car. Is a pretty good run out. Mr. Bean gets by Craig. Will Kobe get to the inside? He does have a wheel alongside, brakes later. And gets alongside CAC and around. Mr. Bean dispatches both Turner and Craig in the same third of a lap. He is now 3 seconds behind Furzy. Gortsas gets by his teammate of the day, CAC, but does not quite get to Kobe into turn 1. Yeah, those old hard tires starting to feel it 12 laps, so oh, we've got a car around, I believe. Thought there was a car around. There was a yellow momentarily. That was Goofy and Will Butler on the same quality of tire. Been scrapping for a lap or so. Mr. Bean puts down the fastest lap of the race. He's cut the deficit to 2.6 seconds now as we're about to enter the back half of the race. Just for comparison, Furzy ran a 122 flat, so about 0.8 difference last lap. Joe gets by CAC, and CAC gets a time penalty for corner cutting, 3 seconds, so perhaps went deep into turn 1. He's about to lose another position, though. Ghost Viper alongside, braking later into the Della Raja. And we'll move into P10. Kobe gets by Craig. Both of them run a little bit wide, and Craig does a good job of holding it. He's going to lose a position. It is rather easy to run wide onto that curb at the exit of the Lesmos, and the car suddenly pivots to the right, and you have found yourself buried into that wall. So good job saving that from Craig. He's going to lose a couple of positions in the process of recovering, but he is on the oldest tires of the field. So closer that time between our leaders. Mr. Bean just 0.2 of a second, I'd say, faster that time. Kobe gets DRS and gets around Turner for P3. In a bit of a recovery mode as he still has those 10 seconds of penalties that are outstanding. Wants to try to make a gap, but it's hard to do here with the DRS around the circuit. Just the long straights. Balzerga gets by Turner. See what other battle we might see here. J-Story is 11th. Rusty 12th, and CAC and a vote around the outside. I tried to switch to him to get a good look. Oh, did you hear that? CAC letting off just a moment. Lets the vote take the position. He's really struggling with these old tires as Nico John gets around him as well in the exit. So 14 laps on the hards, possibly a little too long. But they are certainly stretching or trying to stretch for a one-stop, I would think. Get a good look here at Kobe, who's P3, headed down towards the Parabolica with a couple of cars in tow. Cole gets by Rusty for P. Oh, they're going back and forth, actually, into the Parabolica. Turner calls it quits on the hards. Will enter the pit lane. As we see, that was Balzerga P5. Taking a look at a possible move to get by Gord, but remains P5 into turn 1. These three are pretty damn close now. Feels like one of those situations where we're waiting to see who will be bravest first. Will Balzerga feel that Gord is taking too long and lunge up the inside, or will Gord just try to make a move on Kobe? Balzerga actually on the freshest tires of the three. And Joe Bido may come back into this picture. He's on similarly fresh tires. Not quite close enough. We saw the car try to rotate as he found curb at Ascari. He's going to lose some time. Gord is going to gain some time on Kobe as we head down towards Parabolica. Looked at the outside. Kobe covers it off. Oh, a big snap from Kobe. It's going to check up on Gord. Gord has to back out and go to the inside. So he will take the position. He's going to lose some time, though, having to back out. Balzerga going to try to take advantage of this as well with DRS. Get alongside the McLaren driver, turn in, maybe a little bit of a touch. It's tough to go side by side here. They're leaving each other just enough space, slowing each other up, but Balzerga does get the position. Kobe feeling those tires a little bit now with 9 laps. Craig, I'm going to call that out, comes in to the pit lane to put on his mediums. He was the last one to make the pit stop, mandatory pit stop. I think it's a one stop for him. Jay Story back in for the second time, I believe. He puts on the hards. Ooh, big wobble there from Kobe, you can see. That brings Joe right back into this. As we had called out, he used that moment from Kobe to get himself into DRS range. He started second, but has fallen to 6th through the pit stop cycle. Furzy into the pit lane. We knew he had to pit again. I believe he had gone medium. Let's see what he puts on. As Gord Sauce into the pit lane for the second time as well. So Furzy will put on the hards. Kobe will use DRS to get back around Balzerga. That gap is now 10 seconds from Mr. Bean to Kobe. Furzy had actually relinquished the lead and comes back out in P7 with maybe a little bit of space. 2 seconds to a vote ahead. Saw Kobe make a defensive move into Ascari. That gives him a little bit more of a gap. Balzerga's going to fall towards Joe. So away from the offensive, a little bit closer to having to go defensive. This is a good group here, all pretty even on pace. And Kobe will come into the pit lane. He will have to serve his 10-second penalty, which will be excruciating, before he changes tires probably onto mediums for the final stretch of this race. It'll be a 9-lap stint. Could be hards, though. It will be mediums. Let's see where he comes out. He's going to be behind that group too, so he's going to drop pretty far down the order. He'll come out P14. That 10-second penalty obviously hurts, but a lot of drivers still likely to make a second stop in this race. Ghost Viper getting by Craig. He's on the new hards. And, of course, as I go away, Joe gets by Balzerga for P2. So he is clawed back up to P2, where he started the race. But 8-lap-old hards still may need to make another pit stop. Furzy on those new tires is now P5. He's going to get to the back of Brian B. His first full lap. And he sets the fastest lap of the race. He was over 3 seconds faster than Brian that time around, so he catches him and completes the pass into turn 1. I think it's going to come down between Mr. Bean and Furzy once more for this one. They had an excellent battle at Reverse Austria a couple weeks ago. See if Balzerga has a chance to respond to Joe here. Right to the rear, but is unable to make the pass. Another time penalty rolls in, this time for Brian B. for track limits. Now 7 laps to go here at Monza. Kobe trying to pick his way back through the field. He gets around Craig for P11. Is J-Story... Oh, wow. This trio all together. J-Story P13. He says Craig and Kobe ahead. They'll both have DRS. Kobe will not. Kobe does have the freshest tires, though. That's hards on mediums. And some battery dump. J-Story gets to the outside and... oof. Almost outbrakes himself. But he does get P12. So we saw Balzerga getting closer, and of course I clicked away from the actual overtake. I didn't want to miss some move for P2 that time. Balzerga got closer into the braking zone, but is unable to get by Joe. That was Rusty getting by CAC, probably around the outside at Curva Grande. Rusty on fresh medium tires. Now we're getting to the stage of the race where I wonder if you haven't pit yet, will you? If you're on those hard tires, are you going to try to stretch it? So a big lockup there for Mr. Bean into De La Raja. Try to compare some lap times here. Furzy trying to get back towards P2. He is over 2 seconds faster than Joe and Balzerga last time around, and he's already brought himself within DRS range. So he had pit from the lead, really. He had taken the lead in the first pit stop cycle, undercutting Mr. Bean. But finds himself fourth. He gets a good run out of Ascari, and he's going to take the position from Balzerga. That's back to P3. I'll call it Ghost Viper getting by Turner for P9. DRS open. Doesn't really have any battery to use, so he'll use the little he does. Gets to the back. A big wobble as he's trying to anticipate the defensive move, but just can't quite make the move. Can't quite complete it. So Furzy is P3. Joe holds on to P2. Joe, one of the better defenders in the Sunday tier. Something I've been working on this week is trying to take those averages from the stats program that Tar Heels runs during the Sunday races and Vinny runs in the Wednesday races to kind of get an idea of who is consistently the best at attacking, defending, consistency, race pace, stuff like that. Furzy will go around the outside with the help of DRS. I'm Goofy has put it in the wall at Parabolica. So caution comes out in Sector 3. Furzy did complete it around the outside under green flag conditions, and I'm Goofy has DNF'd. No safety car as we're within, 5 laps of the finish. It doesn't want to do that, I guess. So Furzy has clawed his way back to P2, but is just not going to have the time. With 14.5 seconds up the road is the leader. And just 4 more trips around the track. Just won't have the time to catch him. I did say this on Wednesday, though, and something insane happened. So the race is not over until you've crossed the line and taken that checkered flag. To the inside is Kobe. We get a good look into turn 1. So he will take P9. We'll relegate Ghost Viper to P10. About catching Brian on track, he will have him with the time penalties on the timing board, but always feels better to get the position on track. Trying to join his Haas teammate in the top 5. Don't know if he's going to be close enough. We will go on board. Yeah, just not close enough. Brings it down by a couple of tenths. It gets to the rear under braking, but just not close enough. What about Ghost Viper? He might be close enough to get by Kobe. He is. DRS assisted well before the braking zone. So Ghost Viper will move back into P9. Yeah, with that stats program stuff, I would love, if I was on PC, I would love to make graphics and stuff for the stream. But I'm streaming on PS5. Big broadcasting numbers kind of guy, so I'll just kind of read off some stuff here that I have. In Sunday, we've only been able to run the stats program for most of the races, but not all the races, so there's a little bit of a asterisk here as Kobe gets another DRS overtake. But averaging all of the attack ratings, your best attacker is Kobe Plays in Sunday tier. Your best defender is Mr. Bean. And your most consistent is Balzerga. Ghost Viper, these two going at it all the way to the end here, taking 2 laps to go this time. A vote all the way to the back of Brian once more. And he actually falls outside of a second. He will have DRS, but it's just not going to be enough at this zone. Maybe he feels the need to play it more cautiously because the time penalty is in hand. And Mr. Bean takes the white flag. One more lap here around Monza. He is kind of our defending champ around Monza as well here in the Sunday tier. Won here 2 seasons ago, the previous time that Sunday took to the Temple of Speed. One last chance. All the way to the inside goes Brian, and a vote will take on the outside. Oh, we had a car around. Where was that? It's blue. I think it was... Oh, it's CAC. Has gone wide at the Lesmo, so he's going to drop some spots. But Mr. Bean, with the one-stop strategy, pretty much has this race in hand. Had this race in hand. Wasn't P2 for a while, but is actually going to put some cars a lap down before the end of it. It's a familiar sight here in the Sunday tier, but Mr. Bean is back on the top step of the podium. A celebratory spin-off, and it must have been a legal car because he's going to destroy it right at the finish line. Furzy will take P2. I went with the two-stop strategy, just wasn't the winning strat. Furzy takes P2, Joe P3, Balzerga will get P4. A vote will hold off Brian for P5 on track, and the penalty will move Gord to P6. 2 punctures. 2 punctures. So was that is that CAC? Sorry, the usernames don't match up, but that would make sense. Okay, yeah, that would explain the going off there. That's rough. 11 laps on the mediums. You take it to the end. Turner takes it 12, but clearly not ideal. Familiar faces on the podium here. Our race winner is Mr. Bean, of course. Fastest lap to Furzy. Driver of the day goes to Kobe. And most overtakes goes to Kobe. Cleanest driver goes to Ghost Viper. Kobe says, had so much pace, but qualifying messed it up. Yep, puts you in a tough spot. Mr. Bean is our winner. Furzy and Bidome are your other podium finishers. Balzerga, P4, About P5, Gord, P6. Look at the top 6 all pretty much finishing where they started. Furzy and Joe switching. Brian is 7th. Nico John moves up to 8th. Ghost Viper 9th. And Kobe from the back of the field to 10th. Turner is 11th. J-Story 12th. Craig is 13th. Rusty 14th. Butler 15th, a lap down. CAC 16th, dealing with some punctures. Tar Heels finishes 17th, a lap down. And I'm Goofy, DNFs. Is our lone DNFer in this race. Craig also mentioned that he picked up a puncture. So one-stop territory sounds like puncture territory here at Monza. It's always a blast to bring you some PRL action on the Sunday. Our last round of Season 15 is next week. We are at Spain, so at Catalonia. So though the championship may be in hand now for Mr. Bean, I think officially now. Plenty of other battles throughout the field that we'll highlight next week, especially around the constructors. But as always, I am Hoop BK. We'll see you next time.